So Trump needs to remember what he was saying in 2011, in which he said that the Fed's reckless policies of low interest and flooding the market with dollars needs to be stopped, or we will face record inflation. Now, inflation isn't the only problem either, as Trump points out. Low interest rates and debt being issued that otherwise would have never been issued, and projects and businesses being financed through debt that otherwise would not have been under free market conditions. This can give the economy a boost for sure, but that boost will simply inflate the bubble further, and when reality sets in that this is a house of cards, the fall will be disastrous. And I think Trump understands this. But now Trump recently said, quote, "I personally think the Fed should drop rates. I think they really slowed us down. There is no inflation. In terms of quantitative tightening, it should really be quantitative easing. You would see a rocket ship. Despite that, we're doing very well," end quote. Now, it's very true. You might see a rocket ship. Things might appear better in the short term, but in the long term, that party will come to an end, and you will be in a far worse position you otherwise would have been if the Fed took a hands-off approach. Or if you got rid of the Fed altogether, but that's never going to happen. Not in my lifetime. Well, maybe it will. I hope so, but that's a side note. Now, why the change in tone from Trump since he got elected? Why has he gone from someone who seems to be well-versed in the disastrous effects the Fed can have to someone openly calling for them to liquor the economy up? Well, he knows that in order to be re-elected in 2020, the economic house of cards must remain intact. He understands this. The problem, of course, is if the economy tumbles before 2020, he's giving the presidency to a Bernie Sanders type on a silver platter. Now, that would be bad, but what might be worse is if the economy manages to continue appearing better than what it is, then Trump gets reelected, then during his second term, the house of cards falls, which would be inevitable. I'm calling it right now. And this would be a near guarantee that in 2024, socialists would be coming out of the woodwork, blaming capitalism and free markets, as they're still doing today in terms of 2008, while ignoring the fact that it was a big government game all along. The free markets had nothing to do with it. Then who knows how long we will have to deal with big government or socialist types in power. The only saving grace at that point would be for socialists to get into power, implement their top-down overarching controls and policies on people, have this fail, and eventually, hopefully, people have an awakening and realize that it was government and government-created organizations that caused this mess. It's obvious now, but unfortunately, people still haven't realized it. But Trump right now is stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I don't think he's doing the right thing here. It's an imperfect situation, so there's no perfect solution. But what he really needs to do is level with everyone. Explain what I know he knows, that the economy is a house of cards, and he can rightly claim that it did not come from him. This has been going on long before he got into office. He does not have to take blame for anything that happened prior to 2016, but this recent call to drug up the economy with more quantitative easing and lower interest rates will only prove fatal eventually, and he will have to take some blame for it. And worse than that, the general population will erroneously attribute the crisis to free markets, as Trump is a Republican, and Republicans mean free markets. I'm a bit afraid that that will be the height of analysis most people will give to the issue, and we'll have an even larger population than we do now that thinks more government control and central planning agencies are the answer, where in reality it was that type of governance that got us into the mess in the first place. Now, obviously, given what Trump has been saying, he probably won't level with everyone, and that's really too bad. It might have been a way out for him, a risky way out, but a way out nevertheless. But that is it for now. Like and subscribe if you would, and you all take it easy. Thanks.